One evening, as the full moon hung like a silver coin in the sky, Amina sat by the edge of the river. Her long braided hair fell like a waterfall over her shoulders, her eyes glimmering with a light of their own. She was reflecting on the words of the elders, on the expectations of her family, and on the relentless cruelty of those who did not understand her. A voice as deep as the river itself broke the silence. "Amina," the voice said. She turned to see an old woman standing before her, draped in a cloak of woven reeds, her eyes glowing with an inner light. "You have come far, my child," the old woman said, "but there is more to your path than you can see." The old woman reached into her cloak and pulled out a small, intricately carved wooden amulet. "Take this," she said, handing it to Amina. "It will protect you from those who wish to harm you, but it will also reveal the truth to you about who you truly are." While the elders remained cautious, the people of the village began to take notice of her. She helped them when their crops failed. She healed their sick, and she even helped the hunters track down the elusive wild boar that had been terrorizing the livestock. Slowly but surely, the villagers began to realize that Amina's powers were not of malice, but of compassion. One day, the village was struck by a terrible drought. The skies had not opened in months, and the riverbeds had run dry. The people grew desperate, and many began to lose hope. But Amina, who had always been in tune with the natural world, could sense that the earth was not angry but simply in need of balance. That night, Amina walked to the edge of the village, to the sacred grove where the ancient spirits were said to dwell, and offered a prayer. That night, the skies opened and rain fell in torrents. The crops began to flourish once more, and the river swelled with life. The village rejoiced as the skies opened and rain fell in torrents. The crops began to flourish once more, and the river swelled with life. But as the village rejoiced, there were still those who could not accept Amina's gifts. They feared what they did not understand, and jealousy festered in their hearts. It was then that the village chief, a proud and stubborn man named Kofi, called for a gathering. He declared that Amina must prove her worth before the gods, that she must perform a trial to demonstrate the true nature of her abilities. "Amina," Kofi said, his voice booming through the village square, "you claim to have the power to command the elements, to heal the sick, to bring prosperity to this land." Amina stepped forward, her heart steady, her resolve unshaken. "I accept your challenge, Chief Kofi," she said, her voice clear and strong. "But know this, I do not seek your approval. I seek only to be true to myself. I will prove that I am worthy, not by your standards, but by the standards of the spirits that guide me." The trial was set. Amina would be tasked with finding the lost sacred stone of the village, an ancient relic that had been hidden deep in the jungle for centuries. It was said that only the chosen one could retrieve it, but many had tried and failed. The jungle seemed to close in around her, the towering trees whispering secrets only she could hear. "The path is not what it seems," the spirits warned, their voices intertwining with the rustle of the leaves. Amina felt a chill run through her as the amulet in her hand grew warmer, guiding her through the maze of shadows. The river was no ordinary one. Its currents twisted and churned as though alive. Dark, shadowy hands rose from the depths, reaching for her ankles. Amina closed her eyes, drawing strength from the amulet, and whispered an incantation. The spirits guided her steps, and the river, recognizing her courage, parted just enough for her to cross. In the clearing, the air shimmered, and the past came alive before her. Amina saw her family, her mother's warm smile, her father's proud gaze. But the scenes shifted, showing moments of loss and failure. The jungle tested her resolve, trying to break her spirit. Amina clenched her fists, whispering, "I am more than my past. I will not break." At the heart of the jungle, Amina found the sacred stone resting on a pedestal of roots. But before she could step forward, a serpent as large as the tallest tree uncoiled itself from the shadows. Its eyes glimmered with ancient wisdom. "Only the worthy may claim the stone," it hissed. Amina, unflinching, spoke the words of the spirits, proving her worth. When Amina touched the stone, the jungle erupted with life. Flowers bloomed in bursts of color. Animals emerged from their hiding places, and the spirits sang in celebration. Amina felt the power of the stone coursing through her, binding her to the land and its people forever. The jungle's whispers grew louder, now filled with reverence. Amina stood at the heart of its ancient soul, feeling the spirits surrounding her. They offered their blessing, a bond unbreakable, tying her to the jungle's essence. A warmth spread through her chest as she whispered, "I will protect you as you have guided me." From that moment on, Amina was not just a guardian, she was one with the jungle. With the sacred stone safely cradled in her hands, Amina began the journey back. The jungle, once menacing, now felt like an ally. The trees bowed slightly in the wind, their leaves whispering encouragement. Wherever her footsteps fell, flowers bloomed, as if the jungle itself celebrated her triumph. She smiled, knowing her bond with the land was unshakable. The village came into view and Amina's heart swelled. The people stood at the edge of the jungle, their faces etched with worry. But as they saw her emerge, whole and radiant, cries of joy echoed in the air. They rushed to her, but stopped short, sensing the shift in her. She was still Amina, yet something greater now, a protector, a bridge between their world and the jungle. Under the elders' guidance, Amina placed the sacred stone in the heart of the village. A wave of energy rippled outward, reviving the dry soil, making crops flourish, and filling the air with a sense of renewal. The villagers stood in awe, tears streaming down their faces. The jungle had forgiven them and balance was restored. Amina knew this was just the beginning of her duty as the land's guardian. In a solemn ceremony, the elders placed a crown of woven vines on Amina's head. "You are the protector of our land, the voice of the jungle," they proclaimed. Amina felt the weight of the responsibility, but stood tall. The spirits whispered of trials yet to come, but she was no longer afraid. She had faced the jungle's wrath and earned its trust. She would defend it with her life. While the village celebrated, Amina slipped away to the edge of the jungle. She stood in silence, feeling its ancient eyes upon her. The jungle had tested her, broken her, and rebuilt her stronger than before. She whispered a vow to the spirits, "I will protect you always." And in the rustle of the leaves she heard their answer, "And we will guide you